Hello everyone, it's Antony Carpen here. We are now here with part 3 of Vloguary, and I've just finished watching two very good dramas. The first episode of the new BBC series of War and Peace, and also the Channel 4's screening of Deutschland 83, or 83, if I correctly remember my GCSE German. And actually it was from there that I've stumbled across this new feature that Channel 4 have called Walter, which in a nutshell is its platform for new foreign language dramas, or actually just really good foreign language dramas in general. It's one of the things that, certainly during my teens, that we never really had access to, was the multimedia resources for language learning, other than what we could get at school. We were stuck with cassettes, whereas now one of the things I've noticed is, in particular with music, drama and arts, it makes foreign languages much more accessible and can be beamed into your own home. To give you an example, actually, I recently downloaded the full series of 1864. Now, 1864 is a Danish series set in 1864 in Denmark, at the time of the wars between Denmark and Austria and Prussia, the forerunner to Germany. And there are a number of really interesting insights that come out of that film, in particular how the film depicts shell shock that the Danish soldiers suffered from when they were bombarded by Moltke's howitzers. I'd always assumed that shell shock was only something that really came about with trench warfare in the First World War. But if that is historically accurate, or if the film is historically accurate, then actually soldiers in wars prior to that were suffering from it, and somehow, despite the UK having military attaches attached to the various armies, were just completely ignorant of it. It's a bit like with the American Civil War, when you had the big trenches at the time when they were starting to bring in rapid-firing rifles and much more accurate artillery. It's just like, well, why did nobody foresee the trench warfare that was going to come along in the in the Great War? Those are two really good films, or a number of really good films that I've seen. I'm trying to see if I can get some more downloaded, just if anything to broaden my horizons, because really, in the grand scheme of things, what's coming out from the mainstream UK media, generally I'm not that impressed with. Haven't been impressed with it for quite some time. If any of you have had the delights of watching daytime television, then yeah, you'll see what I mean. I've also been reading a couple of biographies of the people around the time of the films that I'm watching. So if we take 1864, well, I've actually been reading a biography of Tsar Alexander II of Russia, and also of his nemesis, Lord Salisbury. And this covers a period of basically empire building by both Russia and the British Empire, and how they were basically sparring with each other throughout the near, middle and far east. And it's fascinating to see how the various personalities play out. And for me, the personalities there are just a wealth of material and information that filmmakers could use, because there are some fascinating stories to tell. Personally, I'd love to see a filmmaker take up the case of the second last emperor of Germany, Friedrich III, because as a historical figure, I just find him absolutely fascinating, because here was someone who absolutely despised war just in principle, and so how horrible it was in his letters back to his wife, who was Queen Victoria's eldest daughter. Yet at the same time, he turned out to be one of the most competent field commanders in German military history. As it turned out, his son turned out to be the complete opposite, absolutely bloodthirsty in terms of his desire for war, yet equally incompetent in the same role as Supreme Warlord. So yeah, that's a few comments on some films and books that I've been looking at, because, as I've always said to people, I'm a historian by heart. That's all from me. I'll catch up with you tomorrow evening, probably after my music rehearsal. So take care until then. Bye bye.